Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for October of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in Mystic, Connecticut.
Hey, Aquarius, this month's themes revolve a lot around your intimate relationships, but also your worldview and your career. If you need clarification in any of these topics, anything Julia and I say here can be more fully explained in a natal and transit reading. You'll find a link for that in the text that comes with this video. Well, this month begins with moon activity and Mercury activity and finishes with relationship stuff that's really lovely. I want to start with the full moon of October 9th. It lands in your third house of communication. Something that's, I think, a pretty important area to you, Aquarius. And the moon, of course, is in Aries and it's conjunct Chiron. And so this moon is a little bit explosive. It's definitely argumentative. Fortunately, it's also balanced by Venus and the Sun over here in Libra. Now, we're calling this moon arguments that wound, dialogue that heals, because this Chiron moon combination suggests that you might be a little bit tetchy, a little bit reactive during this moon, which fortunately is happening on a Saturday. So at least it's probably not going to compromise your work life, right? And you might want to hold your tongue during this moon and try not to initiate or participate in any arguments, but instead embrace the diplomacy and the tact and the social graces of Venus to balance this out. Now, I'm a big fan of speaking your truth, and I think that's important to do. It's just don't put that much firepower behind it. Draw on the objectivity and wisdom of Saturn to help you smooth out these conversations. Also, you might want to consider holding off on a conversation like this until the second moon of this month coming later on. And I'll say more about that when we get there. Right now, I want to throw the ball over to Julia, who's got news about Mercury, Mars, and Venus.
Yes, I do. Well, hey there, Aquarius. Mercury is going to be going direct very early on in the month. So that's going to be a big relief. On October 2nd, Mercury goes direct in your 8th house. This is the house of shared finance. This is the house of research and investigation. So for the past few weeks, you may have been dealing with miscommunications over money. Maybe you're getting confusing emails from your bank that don't make any sense and you have to go and straighten those out. Or maybe there's conversations with the people close to you about money. Now, if you have been doing any research or investigation into your life, you may have had to go back over your own conclusions, which can be definitely a little annoying. The good news is after October 2nd, things are going to start moving forward. And on October 10th, Mercury's going to go into your 9th house. This is a house of learning, and Mercury loves to learn. So you might want to engage your mind with something philosophical, maybe learn a new language, or maybe learn about a faraway place that you might want to travel to one day. Can be a very nice transit if you're in school. Then on October 29th, Mercury's going to enter your 10th house, and he's really going to spend a lot of that transit next month. So, tune into our next month's video to hear more about what that's going to be like. But Mercury in the 10th can be a time where you are mentally preoccupied with your career, maybe thinking about certain projects to help expand your career, or maybe thinking about the next one. Then Mars, the planet of action and activity, is really slowing down all month until October 30th, where Mars goes retrograde. This cycle happens a lot less frequently than Mercury retrograde. It happens about once every 2 years, so they're pretty important. And this Mars is going retrograde in your 5th house. This is a house that represents your children. It's a house of fun games. It can be a house of also dating and creativity. And Mars represents the action hero in you. It's the planet of activity. And Mars retrogrades might be times we have to redo or take back some of our actions and redo them in some way. Mars in the fifth house can be a time of frustration with your children, not seeing eye to eye with them. It can also be a time of maybe frustration with dating too, if you're single. The fifth house rules dating, so maybe you're sort of redoing or taking back some of your actions that you had while you were dating. And then Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, starts the month in your ninth house. Again, this is the house of education and travel. And Venus in the ninth, just really, really wants to have fun by just expanding herself in some way. So maybe this is a time to kind of learn something new, or sort of go back to school or attend a lecture that will really just kind of open up your mind to other possibilities. If you're involved in any legal issues, things might go in your favor, especially if you need to mediate, because Venus is the planet of diplomacy. Now, on October 22nd, Venus will be conjoined the sun exactly. We call that relationship rapture day. That's a time when relationships can move forward. And with Venus in the ninth, you might be trying to, during relationship rapture day, you might be feeling like your relationship is moving forward because you and your partner have a sense of a shared philosophy towards life, as well as a shared sense of adventure too, that can really invigorate the relationship and make you feel like you guys are progressing. Then on October 23rd, Venus enters your 10th house, where she'll be for the rest of the month and into next. This is a career house, as well as the house of your public reputation, and Venus is adding some luck to your self-image, especially if you do anything in the public eye. And it's also a great time for getting along well with the authority figures in your life, and maybe asking them for some favors if you really need some help. And I know Jamie has more to say on relationship stuff for us this month. What's going on with the cosmos?
Yes, absolutely. So the sun begins the month by traveling through Libra, which is a season of relating. It's a partnership-oriented season. That sign is all about partnering and social graces, if you will. So that's the vibe already. And then on the 23rd, the sun moves into Scorpio just as Venus is moving into Scorpio. They sweep into that sign together right after Relationship Rapture Day, bringing the focus into your 10th house. As Julia said, the domain of career, and some of these relationship themes in your career and along your career path. So it's really a good time to look to your relationships with colleagues, your work collaborations, and to really put some high quality attention on those as the sun is passing along through the 10th house right here after Relationship Rapture Day. And the other really awesome piece of this is that on the 23rd, see that Juno is retrograde as the month begins, having been retrograde since late July. And Juno has brought us into a relationship retrospection period where we're re-examining our relationships and asking ourselves how viable they are, most particularly because Juno is in Pisces. We've been putting them through a sort of a spiritual litmus test, if you will, and asking ourselves, does this person feel like a soulmate? Does this person align with and mesh with my spiritual value system? Because Juno's been traveling through your second house, you might also ask yourself if this person makes you feel secure, safe, financially or physically. And how is your money handled in the context of the relationship? Do you get to have your own money? You might want to. So Juno goes direct, which brings, and that happens on the 23rd right here, and that brings a sense of closure. We feel like we can be done with this relationship retrospection. And whether you've been in a partnership during this transit and you've been looking at the past of your relationship and sort of mulling it over, or whether you've been single during this transit and you've been looking at your relationship past and assessing relationships that you've had before for what is the most viable direction to head in the future. Either way, we come to this place of like getting ready for closure and ready to move on and move forward. Now, this Juno turning direct coincides just in a beautiful way with relationship rapture day, and also the sun moving into Scorpio, and an eclipse that happens right here on October 25th when the moon joins Venus and the sun right here for a new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio. And that might not sound actually like the best thing. An eclipse, that sounds scary. Eclipses are times when we're forced to look at our shadow, our unconscious material, our unconscious behaviors. Sure, that's true about eclipses. Also, moon in Scorpio makes us look into the more hidden, mysterious corners, where, again, we don't usually shine the light of consciousness. But this particular eclipse contains so much harmony and so many beautiful relationship themes that I'm really thinking that it's lovely. Juno trines the moon, also Venus, also the sun, and then those three together are like a happy little puppy pile of love and relating. We're calling this moon Confessions, Acceptance, and Healing. Now, eclipses are a time when the revelation of things previously unknown or unseen is more than possible, likely, actually. And so you can actually use this eclipse to bring out stuff that's been hidden and have your relationship come through it with flying colors instead of being destroyed by it. Unless that's what you want. If that's what you want, then you can have a rebirth in the form of another relationship. I think this eclipse is really, really useful for a purging, a cleansing, but you have to approach it with an open heart and compassion, and be ready to share what you need to, and be ready to hear what the other person has to share. Now, in your case in particular, this could land in your personal life, but it could also land in your professional life because of the way these planets are all gathering in your 10th house of career. So it might be time for that conversation with your boss about your future around this company. And whatever ends up happening, approach it with warmth, with social graces, and with compassion. And then miracles can happen. All righty. That's what we have for you today, Aquarius. You can always find your horoscope on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the horoscopes tab. And if you want a reading, find the readings tab. And if you would like to take a class, we offer those as well. If you want to know more about this full moon and this solar eclipse, you can find that in the forecast tab. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.